Yes, people, we are back again for yet another tier list video. I'm so excited to cover today's topic, which is What's the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis. Maybe one of the least covered British albums of all time, so this is a real needle in the haystack if this has popped into your algorithm, because no one has ever discussed this album before, especially not a British person. So let's waste no time in getting straight into it. We're going to be ranking all of the tracks off this album in the form of a tier list ranging from S to D. Spoiler alert, seeing as this is a 10 out of 10 album, I'm not confident that there's going to be any tracks in D. Maybe I'll force myself to put one in D, who knows. We begin with Hello. This song opens with a cheeky little Wonderwall teaser before cutting off. The guitar plugs in and the song kicks righteously in to Hello, which is a great song. I wouldn't quite put it in S, but I would put it in A. It's a great opener. It's just a no-brainer, you know. I'm sure when Noel Gallagher wrote this, he knew right away that this was going to be an album opener. It does its job, it serves its purpose, it gets you hyped for the rest of the album. It's a great song. Roll With It. The classic Battle of Britpop contender on Oasis's part. Obviously, Blur came out with Country House. They moved their release date forward to meet Roll With It, and thus the Battle of Britpop was born. Me, personally, I think I prefer Roll With It more than Country House, although I do like Country House. Both are in my playlist. Both are great songs, in my opinion, for wholly separate reasons, but that's another story for another time. As for what I think of Roll With It itself, it's a great song, another absolute banger. Once again, I wouldn't put it in S necessarily, but I would put it in A. Do I think it's better than Hello? I'm not sure. What does Roll With It bring to the table that Hello doesn't? I mean, I don't know, man. Both are like absolute sing-alongs. That never gonna be the same in Hello and the Roll With It chorus are both equally sing-alongable. So I'll see if we can relitigate this later. But for now, they're both just A's and pretty evenly matched, in my opinion. Next up, we've got a little-known song called Wonderwall. This is going in S. I will not tolerate any Wonderwall slander. I get it, guys. I'll hold my hand up and be the first to admit, yes, it's overplayed. Yes, I've heard it too many times. Yes, I'm sick of people breaking guitars out at parties and playing it. Either put the guitar away, or I will take it off you and smash it against a wall. A Wonderwall. But yeah, that doesn't take anything away from the song itself, okay? If this was like an Oasis if this was like a classic Oasis B-side, it would be like one of Oasis's best B-sides. Or if it was just like an album track, people would be like, dude, Wonderwall, what were they thinking? I know that seems like an obvious thing to say on the surface, but what I'm trying to get to the core of is that Wonderwall's a great song. It doesn't matter how overplayed it's been, okay? It's so good. It's one of the most honest, confessional, heart-wrenchingly beautiful lyrics that Noel ever wrote. I don't give a fuck what Noel says when he's like, oh, my songs don't mean anything. Bullshit. That's you shying away from the vulnerable person that we all know you are deep down inside, Noel. Just bloody let go of your masculinity for a change and just admit that Wonderwall is about your ex-wife like you did at the time. Oh, it's about an imaginary friend. Bollocks. No, it's not. Imaginary friend. Jesus. That's a funny way of saying ex-wife. Anyway, we're getting heated now. Wonderwall's a great song. Fuck you. Don't Look Back in Anger. S as well. Crazy that these are back to back on the album. Just fucking bonkers, dude. Like the fucking steez on Oasis around this time is just bonkers. To the point so much so that I've used the word bonkers 3 times now. This album is about as close to a best of that isn't an official best of, I guess, apart from like Thriller by Michael Jackson, that you're ever gonna see, and definitely maybe by Oasis. They effectively released 2 best of albums back to back, which is interesting because Noel Gallagher claims that best of claim a great number of his record collections. And so it only makes sense that he would go on to then release 2 best ofs effectively. That's not an observation that is my own. That is John Robb's that I've mercilessly stolen. But I thought it was interesting, and very true. Wonderwall's it's it's better. I think compositionally, Don't Look Back in Anger supersedes Wonderwall, but they're both S songs, make no mistake about it. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that I actually do think Hello is a better song than Roll With It. Yeah, Hey Now, let's put that in B. Hey Now is going to be one of the very few B tier songs that you'll see crop up on this tier list. My issue with Hey Now is that it has all the hallmarks of a great 3.5 minute ditty. I feel like as climactic as the finish is with the synthesizer and everything like that, and for as much as, the song does build, with the addition of the bonus verse and chorus that you get after the song officially ends. Having said all that, the song does officially end about 3.5 minutes in, and then it just boots back in for no apparent reason. This song does have a second verse. Great. Very rare for, a song on this album to have. And then the song kicks back in. Do we get a third verse? No, it just repeats the first verse again. It does not, it didn't need to be what? It's nearly 6 minutes, isn't it like 5 minutes 40? Completely unnecessary. Keep this song to like 3.5 and it would be an A for sure, but it's in B because it drags for too long. Oasis, like for the most part, they earn their song lengths through Liam kind of dipping out and Noel just kind of flexing his steez on the guitar, coming up with like really like catchy melodic little riffs that fill the space. This is just doing the same thing we've already heard, which is what I'm doing right now. The Swamp Song Excerpt 1. Now, I have taken the liberty of including the Swamp Song in this tier list for want of this video not being like 2 minutes long, because this is quite a short album, admittedly. The Swamp Song Excerpt 1... I like it. I will say, the inclusion of the Swamp Song on the album is a bit jarring as opposed to the, over 10 great B-sides that potentially could have taken its place. But it certainly serves a function. I do like What's the Story, Morning Glory? Actually, I take that back, because Dig Out Your Soul, I think, does a better job of transitioning to and from tracks than even this album. That is not to suggest by any means that Dig Out Your Soul is a better album than this one. We'll get to that, trust me. I feel like the latter half of Oasis's career is going to be under quite heavy scrutiny by me in this series, so look forward to that. And praise, but mostly scrutiny. Having said that, the Swamp Song Excerpts 1 and 2, what they help to do is establish a really nice flow to and from tracks on this album, and they serve their role beautifully well. However, in saying that, would you ever go out of your way to listen to either of these on their own? I know that's a stupid thing to say because their function is to serve as interludes, but I would say no. Having said that, you can't really put them in C or D because they're not trying to be anything beyond what they are, so I'm just going to put it in B. They're perfectly pleasant, let's put it that way. And you know what? I would rather we got them in little short snippets, because that's all they were ever supposed to be, than the full-length version, which we get on the Master Plan, which in my opinion was completely unnecessary. Put It's Better People, put Come On Feel the Noise, put something else on there. Some might say this is an S-tier song. The some being me. Because this song is an absolute fucking banger. And you know what? It's one of the few Oasis songs that goes above and beyond 5 minutes. That I would argue, absolutely earns it. That outro is like Owen Morris, brick wall technique, textbook definition. He is brick walling the shit out of this mix. Everything, every single track is just filled to the full extent that it could possibly be, and it just sounds fucking huge, even in your earphones, let alone when it comes on in a pub or something like that. The melodies on this song are great. I love the harmonies during the verse. Anytime Liam and Noel harmonize, it's always a great moment for me. I wish there was more of that. I think they lean into it more later on, and that's more born out of necessity, because I don't know if you noticed, but there are certain Oasis songs that they perform during the latter half of their career, where Noel adds harmonies or backing vocals that weren't there previously, neither recorded nor live. But it's more born out of necessity because Liam's voice kind of withers as we go, as we go sort of later into Oasis's career. Whereas for now, obviously, while Liam's still got a really powerful, punchy voice, Noel's like, he knows his place. He takes a step back and only adds harmonies where they're really necessary. But I wish he did it even more, man. Like, I wish he was doing it, as consistently around this time as he would go on to do, because I love when they harmonize, When brothers harmonize, it always sounds good. There's just something in the genes, in the gene pool. Do I think some might say is a better song than Wonderwall? That's tough. That is tough. I'm gonna put Some Might Say at the bottom of S, but it's still an S song, make no mistake. Cast No Shadow. That's going in A. Love Cast No Shadow. I remember when I first discovered this song, I was getting into Oasis and I was listening to the singles on YouTube with the music videos included. And Cast No Shadow obviously doesn't have a music video. It has a lyric video published by the official Oasis channel. And so, because I wasn't much of an albums guy around that time, I was just listening to the singles. I happened upon Cast No Shadow and was like, oh my god, it blew my mind. It was a whole other kind of it was a whole other side to Oasis that I hadn't yet endeavoured to find. And quite frankly, a mode that they don't operate in that much before or after it. This is quite, the slide guitar on this song, it sounds quite folky in a way. Noel's backing vocals on it are very pretty. Having said that, it is bottom of A. It's kind of, once again, it does kind of have a bit of that Hey Now syndrome where it doesn't, here's a third for every man. That first verse just repeats again. It's like, come on, Noel. It's like a bit lazy, write a second verse. And the, as they took his soul, they stole his pride. That gets more so on re-listens, I will say that much. Like, on first listen, it's like, holy shit, this is like one of Oasis's best songs. This could have been a single. On re-listens, though, it does lose a bit of the magic. And I will say this much, even though Hey Now's a B-tier song, unlike Hey Now, Cast No Shadow, apart from, Alan White really, like, just smashing those cymbals by the end, it doesn't do a great deal to build upon what it establishes after even the first chorus, I'd say. And so it does feel just a bit like, a bit kind of like we're stagnating from around the point of the first chorus onwards. Once again, excluding Alan White's beautiful drumming. Which, by the way, like, such an underrated, element to this album that I think really contributes to its success. And a reason that I wouldn't say Tony McCarroll hate is justified, but a reason that I would say Tony McCarroll's exclusion from this album totally makes sense to me is because you compare, like, the composition of the songs from Definitely Maybe to this one, and it's like, yeah, like, Tony McCarroll, there's no way, like, his drumming works perfectly for Definitely Maybe, but there's no way he's doing what Alan White's doing here. Alan White really breathes, like, so much more life into these songs through not always necessarily, like, the most complex drumming. I'd say he's very aware of the kind of band he's in and that the power is very much in the simplicity, and he knows when to rein it back. But every so often on, like, Don't Look Back in Anger, like the drum fill leading into the final chorus, and here the little fills that he throws in occasionally, it's still it's as if he's saying, like, hey, listen, I may be in Oasis, but I'm not Tony McCarroll, all right? I've got fucking chops, and I'm going to let them shine through where possible. She's Electric. This is also going in A. I'm going to put it above Cast No Shadow. This is the What's the Story Morning Glory equivalent of Digsy's Dinner, isn't it? It's a little goofy, fun ditty, and that's all it really wants to be. I love this kind of fun side to Oasis. For me, it really is like indicative of who the brothers are as people. One thing I find really quite fascinating about Oasis is that the brothers are so, like, unserious in interviews. Like, they take almost nothing seriously. It feels like the music is one of the few things that they really take seriously, and that there's no fucking around when it comes to the music. Noel even said that when he listened back to like the masters of Definitely Maybe, like in between takes they weren't like bantering or joking around, there were just complete silence, like so professional, like ready to go. This is one of the few instances though where their personality does like spill into the music, and I love that for them. And I like the fact that it only occupies one song in the album. It's like, you don't need any more than that, you know what I mean, to establish just who these guys are. And it's a little like, the lyrics are a little convoluted. It is very much like rhymezone.com, like Sister Blister, all that type of shit. But I don't know, I love it. It's not trying to be profound. It's not trying to be anything beyond what it is. It's not, you know, there's no pretentiousness to this. It just is what it is. Morning Glory, this is another S. I'm going to put it bottom of S. What an absolute fucking bona fide banger. This is like, I mentioned this in my Oasis singles bracket video, where Morning Glory is actually, and this isn't a put down, because I've dogged on Be Here Now a lot, and we'll get to this in the next video, but I actually do like a great deal of Be Here Now, you know. I think if anything, the greatest shame of Be Here Now is that it could have been a great album, but it's held back by things that were just so preventable, like so preventable. But Morning Glory, for me, reads as a song that like could easily have been a track on Be Here Now. I will say, for as much as it's an S tier song, because it just is, you know, it's just so I love the phrase melodically rich. I need to find a new phrase to put in place of that, but it's true. You know, the song is so rich in melody, every part of it. Just around this time, like, Noel Gallagher wasn't just penning like catchy hooks, like it felt like every part of every song, you know, the verses, occasionally he'll throw a pre-chorus or a bridge in there, obviously the chorus itself and the guitar parts were all so like catchy and hooky, it's crazy. But this is one of the few songs on here where it does feel like the bombast and the sheer excess in volume on the production does maybe like, it does verge on being a bit too much. Like when you're listening to it in your headphones, it's kind of hard to, it's all very, you know what I mean, it all kind of just melds into one, and it's very hard to distinguish the rhythm guitar from the lead guitar, from the bass, from the drums, you know. It's all kind of it's all in one big smeldering pot. Don't know if what I just said makes even a lick of sense, but you know what I'm getting at. The Swamp Song Excerpt 2, I'm going to put this in B behind Excerpt 1. Although I love the sound effects on this one. I love the fact that it's as if you're like sort of changing channels on a radio or something like that. Noel Gallagher claims he was like really big into sound effects around this time, and I kind of wish that he kind of lent back into that a little more on subsequent albums, because it works to great effect here. It really does create an atmosphere that is unique to this album within Oasis's back catalogue. Like the just those delicious wave sound effects that lead us into final track Champagne Supernova really sets the tone. So yeah, good job with the sound effects, Noel. That was for sure the right call to make. Champagne Supernova is top of S. Need I say any more? Like, what can I say about this song that hasn't been covered a million times before? You know what? You know, how many special people change? 1. How many special people change? 2. How many special people change? 3. It does repeat 3 times, and so I am gonna effectively contradict all criticisms I've had of that kind of thing up to this point, in saying that I don't give a shit about that on Champagne Supernova, because how many special people change and how many lives are living strange. Chris Martin wishes he wrote that, you know what I mean? Like, some would argue that, you know, second to Noel Gallagher, Chris Martin is like the, and I'm not even like a Coldplay fan necessarily, I'm just stating an objective fact, but Chris Martin is like great at penning lines that toe the line between being vague and, you know, a little ambiguous and like deeply profound. And depending on your interpretation of it, it can fall into either category. But for the most part, it falls into the lap of deeply profound, purely because, as the listener, you put your own interpretation on it, and you interpret it based on your own lived experience. And how many special people change, and how many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high? For me, that is just so like indicative of that as a concept. And it goes a long way to explaining why Noel Gallagher is as praised as a lyricist as he is. Bollocks though some of his lyrics may be, like for example the next line being slowly walking down the hall faster than a cannibal, even that is so evocative, and I can't even tell you why. It just is. Like, is it the rhythm of it? Is it the words he chose? I don't know. But there's something in the bones of this song that is so, like, that just connects so deeply with almost everyone that hears it, that how you can't help but praise that. Like, that's something that I don't... There's a reason that Oasis themselves could never repeat this again. You know, they get close. They get very close. Like, Oasis remained, past this point, a fucking phenomenal singles band. Like, as a singles band, they were always great, in my opinion. Like, they released singles later on that easily stood up to their former glories. As an albums band, not so much. Okay. And there's a reason. It's because, like, Noel Gallagher was in such a sweet spot around this time. You just like, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, you can't beat this shit. Nonetheless, that is my What's the Story Morning Glory tier list. Let's see whether any of them warrant relitigating. I think this is fine. I'd say this is fine as well. And you know what? Yeah, I think everything's in the right place. To quote Tom York. I know the Oasis fans will like that. Yeah, perfect. Just like this album. Although, hey now, trim it down a bit, lads. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed this one. I will see you next time for Be Here Now. And have a good day. Hope you're enjoying the sunshine. It's really fucked up the lighting. I look like a ghost right now. I mean, I'm pretty pale as is, but especially so. Bye.